Noakes proposed to bring a floating dry dock into their wharf, and I had trouble visualising what it would look like, so I made a scale model of the dock and the wharf. The maximum size that will fit inside the end curtains is 47 metres, and its weight would be much less than the 1,000-tonne capacity that they are applying for. The wharf adjacent to the yard is shown 8 metres above the harbour bed, which is the average depth at the position for loading. The average depth at the wharf is about 3 metres, and in fact the harbour bed comes down from the wharf to the middle of the harbour, where it is 8 to 10 metres deep. The dry dock has a green box on top of one side. It is a diesel generator that will be noisy and have exhaust fumes, and it is not listed in the application reports. The dry dock is kept at the wharf with 2 or more lines there and one at the other end. As the tide goes up and down twice a day, they have to be adjusted every hour or so, day and night, every day. The application does not say how this will be done. Also on the plan, springers are shown. The springer is a line that goes from the bollard on shore to a bollard on the dry dock. But there is no way this can be done because of chafing and the position of the dock. If the lines become too tight or loose, the floating dock could list and capsize. They do not show how the gangways will work in the indicated position or with the tidal variation, and in the case of this gangway, how it will go over the bollard but then miss the stairway which is blocking. It is proposed to move the floating dock into position without the use of a tug. It involves moving a 60-metre vessel, say 1,800 tonnes when loaded, and the application does not explain how this can be done. It involves using a pile that has been there so long that part of it has rotted away. It is not strong enough to control the dock. Assuming that they get the dry dock into the loading position, they then have to sink it to release a vessel or to load a new vessel. It must be restrained with lines, but there's nothing in the application to show the winches and bollards that are necessary. They propose to use the capstans on top of the dock, but they are not designed for this task, and they are not in the correct position to be attached to any pile or bollard on shore. While loading a vessel and the raising of the dry dock, they have to keep the dry dock in exactly the same spot in the water, and the vessel exactly centred over the keel blocks. Otherwise, a slight movement caused by wind or waves or propeller wash could move it out of alignment, resulting in a list and probable capsize. The keel blocks shown here are not to scale for this vessel and are purely here to indicate where they're situated in the dock. The floating dry dock is moored at Snails Bay at this time, and there is no sign of keel blocks or fittings to take them. It is impossible to keep the dry dock in position with the 2 lines that are proposed, as they connect to only 2 points, here and there. It can only be secured if anchored at each corner, both at the stern and at the bow. Clearly, this is not possible under the application details. The vessel inside is balanced on its keel, sitting on the keel blocks. During loading and unloading, it is supported by 4 lines attached to the yellow capstans. Clearly, the capstans cannot be used to keep the dock in position. So how are they going to keep it in position? And it has not been put into the application. When the dock is raised, there are 3 supporting arms that fit through here on each side, but are not shown. They help support the vessel inside. In addition to keel blocks, there must be bilge blocks, but these are missing from the navigation report. A gantry at the stern, like a bridge, is an integral part of the operation, but it was removed by Noakes. This dry dock was not designed to be moved with a vessel inside. It was not designed to work in the bay as they propose. There is no way that this dry dock can operate as described in the navigation report for the DA. The navigation report lacks credibility and is at best a fairy story or a fable based on folly. It is a disaster waiting to happen, and that will cause severe environmental damage to the waterway.